The William Pace Show through the years has been a beacon of light in the Midwest, taking you to such destinations as the Navy Pier, the Palmer Hilton Palace Hotel, the German Village, the Showboat Majestic Theatre, the Ohio Village, and the Krohn Conservatory. There's always something cooking in the kitchen on the William Pace Show. Some of the biggest stars, entertainers, and political figures like B.B. King, Jimmy Walker, Bob Carlisle, Patti Austin, Mr. T, Whitley Phibbs, and Congressman Tony Hall have appeared on the William Pace Show. Now, without further ado, we proudly present the William Pace Show on CATV, coming to you from the heart of the Midwest. The William Pace Show, asking the questions you want to ask, getting the answers everyone wants to know. It's a new season of the William Pace Show. We're raising the bar with more commitment to educate, inform, encourage, inspire, empower, and help you have your best life. Everyone deserves to have their best life. I'm just staying the course. Here we go. Good evening, I'm William Pace, and thanks so much for tuning in the William Pace Show tonight. My guests this evening are Jack Brickler and Mark Bruns. They're with The Plan. Tell us a little bit about what the mission of The Plan.
Okay, the mission of The Plan basically is to reduce domestic violence arrests in Montgomery County, Ohio, by 50%.
50%.
Yeah, that's right. That's our charge, okay? Well, how do you do that? Okay, for a while we tried to work the whole of Montgomery County and decided that didn't work out real well. So what we decided to do was to break it down into communities, and we chose Huber Heights as our first community to apply all 5 parts of the plan to Huber Heights.
Sort of like the adage, you know, the best way to eat an elephant is start with
one
the baby
bed
toe.
at a time, right? One bed at a time.
So you are concentrating on Huber right now, Huber Heights. And what is the main mission?
The main mission then is to drive it down by 50% in Huber Heights, okay? And we're here in Huber Heights because of Mark Bruns. Mark's on our board, and he suggested that we use Huber Heights. And so we thought, well, and he's got a good reputation in the community. He was a retired police officer, 32 years, I guess.
35 years.
We've even got him quoted in some of our literature.
Okay. Okay. So, is this your idea to come up with this plan?
Well,
how did
I'm the one that's pushing the plan. I'm the one that's carrying out the message of the plan and so forth. Whether it was my idea, it depends on how much faith you have from God point of view. But basically, I feel like it's a mission that I've been directed.
So you feel that this is a call?
Yeah, oh, definitely.
Okay, and what is how did you become involved? Did you
you have to ask the Lord about that.
Okay, I see. So this is just a call that's just been put on your life. You didn't come from domestic violence.
No, I had actually, I grew up in a home of Leave It to Beaver.
Okay, so
basically there was no alcohol, no loud voices, no arguments, no nothing. It was a place of peace. It was a little bit of heaven for me, but I know there's a lot of people that's not, their home life was not heaven, believe me. And so what it's designed to do is to help the arrested people who caused the problem to be able to change their behavior, and we have a plan that will help them do that.
And these people who are constantly being arrested for domestic violence, there seems to be a cycle, a pattern.
Oh yeah. It's
generation to generation.
Yeah, we have slogans that speak to that, and actually Mark spoke to it in some of our literature. There are 5 parts of it, and I'd like to go through all 5 parts with you.
Let's start with the very first part.
Well, there are 5 parts, and whether one of them is first or not is immaterial to some extent because they're all important.
Okay.
But all 5 of them together are massively strong and very important, okay? And I'll just choose the first one that I'm thinking about is a walk that we have coming up on the first Saturday in November, November 5th, at Wayne High School in Huber Heights, okay? And we have literature about the walk. This is one of our brochures that we're pushing all over Huber Heights. Okay.
And the walk will accomplish more visibility for the organization?
Well, what it's going to do is it brings out in the public the plan and the idea behind the plan, which is reducing domestic violence in Huber Heights, domestic violence arrests, okay? We can measure domestically violent arrests in Huber Heights. We can't measure domestic violence, period. You know what I mean? The whole subject matter. Because what we do is the police department and Chief Leitner and his group are supportive of what we're doing, and we get a list of all the arrests every year in Huber Heights.
And is it on the upswing now?
Well, it kind of went level, but let me stick with the walk for a minute. Yeah, and when people come and walk, we want them to come, and also by coming to the walk, they don't necessarily have to walk, they can, but it's like an event to basically say, I support the plan. If you show up and you register, okay, and you fill out a registration form, like so. Okay. And you're stating you support the plan.
So you want people to come out.
Right.
And by their presence.
Right. By their presence, they're supporting the walk and the plan. And our goal is to get 1,000 people to come and do that. Not this next year, but we want to drive to that point. Because we're contacting businesses in Huber Heights to support the plan, and we're giving out the slogans and so forth. We have coffee mugs. Okay, these are the mugs. We have 4 different coffee mugs, and they have all 4 slogans on the coffee mug.
Wonderful. So when they come to the march,
we give these away, and they can take these home. At the same time, the businesses that are supporting the plan, they give these to each one of their employees.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
That is wonderful. So, in a way, this is sort of like a ministry to increase the awareness of the organization.
Okay, but when you say awareness, we want to make sure that we understand what our mission is on the other side. The idea of helping people who have been victims is very, very important. There's a lot of work in that area. We're talking to these people that are causing the problem. Okay, and we're suggesting that they can change their behavior. The 4 slogans are basically domestic violence is a learned behavior, be a hero and break the cycle. Domestic violence is a learned behavior. Domestic violence, let's see again. Okay, who trained a domestically violent person? The person who's domestically violent is carrying their trainer's baggage. They're carrying it on, as Mark basically stated at one point. And alcohol is apparent to domestic violence. We're not saying if you drink alcohol you're domestically violent, but what we're saying is if you're domestically violent, check your alcohol consumption. Most people drink a lot of alcohol that are domestically violent.
Okay. There's more to come on the William Pace Show when we return. Stay with us. The William Pace Show through the years has been a beacon of light in the Midwest, taking you to such destinations as the Navy Pier, the Palmer Hilton Palace Hotel, the German Village, the Showboat Majestic Theatre, the Ohio Village, and the Krohn Conservatory. There's always something cooking in the kitchen on the William Pace Show. Some of the biggest stars, entertainers, and political figures like B.B. King, Jimmy Walker, Bob Carlisle, Patti Austin, Mr. T, Whitley Phibbs, and Congressman Tony Hall have appeared on the William Pace Show. Now, without further ado, we proudly present the William Pace Show on CATV, coming to you from the heart of the Midwest. Good evening, I'm William Pace, and thanks so much for tuning in the William Pace Show. Tonight we're talking about the plan, and my guests this evening are Jack Brickler and Mark Bruns. And Mark, let's talk a little bit about the slogans and how they came to be.
When in my history of being a retired police officer, there are a lot of things that basically the plan is more to educate and help with the domestically violent person. Most programs throughout Montgomery County center around the victim. This is not necessarily helping the victims. It is by education of the domestically violent person. So the slogans that you will see throughout our community will basically reinforce who trained that domestically violent person. In my personal contact with the citizens of Heber Heights over the years, when I first started, I would arrest the grandfather for domestic violence. And then as the years gone by, in those 33 years in law enforcement, I ended up arresting the son for domestic violence.
Okay.
And even further than that, in one family instance, all three of the males were charged with domestic violence. So these slogans are very critical. That who trained the grandson to be domestically violent? So those are the things that,
so
that we're trying.
To the father, back to the grandfather.
Yes.
So it's just been handed down from generation to
Down through the family.
generation.
And it continues daily. A lot of these arrests that we get the information from the police department, and all police departments have to report it. But back to the slogans, you know, the person who is domestically violent is carrying their trainer's baggage, which is so true. So how are you going to bust up that cycle of violence? By education and awareness. The alcohol factor, most of those people do have alcohol issues and substance abuse issues. So in these mugs that Jack had spoke of earlier, some of these mugs have been placed in some of the local restaurants where people will when they drink the coffee, they'll read these slogans along with the ones that will be posted out beside the road.
So this is sort of like educating people.
Yes.
We're educating the domestically violent person.
Right.
That's been arrested, that you can change your behavior. It is possible. It's been done. Once you understand where you got this message to be domestically violent, you got the message from somebody above you. Okay.
But do you think that the people who are acting out now in domestic violence, do they make the connection?
I don't think they make the connection a lot of times.
That's why Jack came up with this brilliant
so this
plan.
is to help people to make the connection.
Yes, make the connection.
Right. Okay.
And when they take the mugs home from the walk, everybody that comes to the walk takes the mugs home. Everybody that we go to the business, and the business passed out. The Heber Heights Police Department just passed out a bunch of these mugs and a bunch of the walks.
It is a unique way of turning things around,
Right.
focusing not on the victim,
Right.
even though they need help.
They've already been a victim, but it's been so far down in their history that it's hard for them to process it. And we're trying to tell them that it can be done. Okay.
It's a unique way of doing it. It really is.
It's unusual. A couple of people said to me one time, Jack, a lot of people are going to miss this. They're gonna go right over.
I get it. You have to get to the root of the problem.
Yeah, that's right. And that's what Mark understands. When I met with him and he joined the board, he picked it up really quick. But he's got that experience to be able to do that.
And probably that experience came from how many? 35 years as a police officer,
Yeah.
overseeing this happening over and over and over again, that you came to the conclusion?
Right, and this is a program, it's not a counseling issue.
Right.
It is an avenue for us to be able to show that there are other ways that you can deal with this. Most of the programs in this county handle the actual family dynamic of the victims. The perpetrator is removed from the family to go to jail for X amount of days or months or whatever, but all these issues are still inside
Of that person.
that person that's being
And when
arrested.
they're released, if they don't go back to the same situation, they'll go into another situation with the same problem.
The cycle will continue right again.
So this program will definitely help with that domestically violent person. That person is who we're targeting to say, hey, you can change your behavior.
Right.
Not going to happen within a week.
Right.
But we let them know you do have an opportunity.
And that, I see the reason why because you can put somebody in prison for domestic
Yes.
violence. I know of a situation where a person had been put in prison for domestic violence, and that did not stop him from being that. And then he got out again and married someone else, and then
Did it again.
Murdered the person.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
And that happens frequently.
We also sent one other part of the plan is the Hero Express card that we send out.
Hero,
We're going to
okay.
talk about that, and then we'll talk about a symposium that we're working on for the domestically violent arrested person.
Wonderful. We're going to be discussing that coming up in our next segment. So stay with us. You're watching The William Pace Show, coming to you from the heart of the Midwest. The William Pace Show through the years has been a beacon of light in the Midwest, taking you to such destinations as the Navy Pier, the Palmer Hilton Palace Hotel, the German Village, the Showboat Majestic Theatre, the Ohio Village, and the Krohn Conservatory. There's always something cooking in the kitchen on the William Pace Show. Some of the biggest stars, entertainers, and political figures like B.B. King, Jimmy Walker, Bob Carlisle, Patti Austin, Mr. T, Whitley Phibbs, and Congressman Tony Hall have appeared on the William Pace Show. Now, without further ado, we proudly present the William Pace Show on CATV, coming to you from the heart of the Midwest. Good evening, I'm William Pace, and thanks so much for watching the William Pace Show. My guests this evening are Jack Brickler and Mark Bruns, and they're with The Plan. So you have a part of the program that's called Hero Express.
Right. There are 5 parts to the plan, okay, and we've talked about the walk, we've talked about the slogans and so forth, and we're going to talk about a couple more parts. One is called the Hero Express, and this is communication that we're sending to everybody in Huber Heights, okay, about what happened in the previous year in regard to domestic violence. In other words, this card this year was sent out to 9,686 homes or businesses in Huber Heights. And what this card says is, first of all, it shows the last 7 years arrest record in Huber Heights.
Okay.
It shows a breakdown of the last 3 years, okay, in terms of how many male on male, female on female, male on female, female on male, blah, blah, blah. And then also, it has the 4 slogans on it, okay, and then we also promote the walk. So every year in Huber Heights, we will get to where every household will get this card, okay? Now, obviously, some of them will throw it away, but an awful lot of people are going to keep it.
Okay.
But what we're doing is we're giving information about arrested people in Huber Heights to the community of Huber Heights. And the plan is saying, people, businesses, come with us, okay, and let's reduce it, okay? So these will be mailed out every year, and we hope to do it in the first quarter of the year, because the walk is in the last quarter of the year, so that all year long, people in Huber Heights are constantly thinking about domestically violent arrested people.
There also are not local stats of how many people miss work because of domestic violence, that they're too embarrassed to go to work. They may be carrying some bruising, or so there's a lot of missed work. You get locked up for a couple of days for the domestic violence. So it's very critical that everybody in Heber Heights, if they read it, great. If they leave it on the coffee table and the domestically violent person sees that and reads it, may trigger, maybe there is a little hope for me.
Yeah.
This, as I hear you talk about the plan, it seems like this is a big education.
And as a matter of fact, under 501c3, we're filed under education.
Okay, all right. I made the connection then.
You did, you got it.
You know?
Yes.
And along that line, we have another brochure. This says change your behavior. Okay? So basically, when you go in to pay a ticket at Heber Heights Police Department, there's a display there that says change your behavior. We got 30 of those there, and we just keep filling it up and there's some missing because people take them out. And inside there are all sorts of comments that people make about domestic violence that we've heard over the years in working in this okay? And that's the reason I made a testament to Mark. He's quoted on here. Because when I explained the plan to him back several years ago, he just said, I arrested the grandfather, the father, as he is so stated, and so forth. So he caught on to it really quick, okay? So this is also going out in the community in different places. And then we're working on, and we don't have this done yet, but this is in process, a Symbonesian plan to basically invite the people that have been arrested in Heber Heights to a meeting, and we are going to talk to them about this, and we have 2 people who have changed their behavior. This guy here...
That's a great idea, contacting the people who have been arrested and trying to get them in a program.
We're going to invite, well, we're not going to be a program. We're not counseling, as Mark said. We're not counselors. They need the help counseling to work with, but we're not counselors.
Do you help the people, direct them?
Yeah, yes. If they call us, we can recommend the counseling to them. And we will, if somebody calls us that's been domestically violent, we will give them this book.
Okay.
All right, this book is written by Michael Clark. He was arrested twice for domestic violence in his life, and he's got his own organization, but he's a strategic partner with us and what have you. And so his book talks about that and how he changed his behavior and so forth. So we'll be giving that, and he will come to the symposium that we do when we get that established.
Okay. We would like to have him come on the program if there's some way at that time.
Well, when we get this on, you could have both him, and we have another fellow who's changed his behavior, and so we could do your program.
Yes, we would definitely love, because that's what we're about, informing, educating people.
And even better than that, how much does it cost for the domestically violent person? Nothing.
Nothing.
All these opportunities are here. All you have to do is to let us know, and we'll make sure we get you pointed in the right direction.
This program, as I learn more about it, is just wonderful, because I believe people, when they know what is at stake, their livelihood, their job, their family, their lives, then they could change their behavior.
Sure.
And change for something better and say, no, I don't want to do this. I don't want to live this way. I don't want to abuse my spouse. I don't want to abuse my children anymore. Maybe I grew up in an abusive home, but I don't have to abuse.
Right. You do not have to follow that. And that's why this book, it's titled From Villain to Hero, that's what he's talking about in there. You don't
love it.
have to
love
do this.
it. I tell you why, because I'm a very spiritual person, and I know the power of God, that God can transform people from one thing, from being this to that. And so,
So yeah, when we contacted him, and I saw that word hero on there, and we've got hero in our literature, I thought, wow,
connection,
this is a connection, right?
Yeah, and that is what it's about, the connection, people connecting things, you know, trying to figure things out.
And we also certainly could use any help. Should someone want to volunteer with us?
Any of your audience,
come out to the walk.
Tell us, when is the walk?
That's November 5th. It's the first Saturday in November. It's coming up here within 10 days or so. So anybody in your audience that wants to help out in Hooper Heights to support the plan and the walk can come out. You're going to get some coffee and donuts, okay? You get a mug and so forth. You also get a mashed potatoes and gravy. I mean, you can take it home. You have to prepare it when you take it home.
Right, we don't cook it.
You don't cook it for you, but you can have a good time, meet a lot of nice people and so forth, and help push this idea to the domestically violent arrested people. You can change your behavior. You can do it.
And you can, take one person and put a light in that person, and that person can go to a number of people and be
another light.
Yes, absolutely. And so for the viewers out there who might like to make a contribution to the organization,
yeah, they can.
Is that a possibility too?
Oh yeah, of course we're always ready for that. But at this point, most of the money is being funded by myself and a few other people. But at some point, we are going to say to the people of Hooper Heights, here's how much it cost for the plan, X amount of dollars, and I think the people of Hooper Heights and the businesses are going to come forward and they'll finance it.
I do believe too, because it's a worthy cause, because it does so much good. Let's break it down to, so many people in a domestic situation are affected by this.
Yes.
The employer, if the person doesn't show up because he's, the spouse is maybe physically hurt. The children witnessing this, what it does to them emotionally.
Correct.
They're frightened, afraid to come home, afraid to tell anybody what's going on in the home. So
and it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Well, I would like for you to come back and report on the walk, after the walk.
Yeah, we'll be happy to do that.
Okay, thank you so much for being on the program tonight. There's more to come on the William Pace Show, coming to you from the heart of the Midwest. The William Pace Show on CATV.